Hello, my name is Braden Morrison, and today I'm going to be talking about the advice that I got from a generative AI. I will also talk about the other sources that I found to compare with the AI's response. The question I asked the AI was how to communicate with a coworker at a business conference who speaks a different language. I used two other sources for this assignment, and they were both articles that I found on the internet. I was excited for this assignment because I had never used a generative AI before, so I was excited to use that program and get my results and see how accurate this function actually is. I was also excited to use this because I think that it is something that I'm going to use a lot in my future career being in the business world. It seems like a very helpful resource and something that I will use a lot. The goal of this question is to prepare me for the future. There may be a time when I am at a conference and am forced to interact with someone who speaks a different language. So I need to be prepared for that scenario so I can handle it in the correct way. Having to talk to people who don't speak the same language is becoming more and more common these days because of the diversity in the workforce and because of social media. You're now forced to interact with people all over the world because we have access to that technology now. The AI machine that I used was ChatGPT. It gave me pretty detailed responses. Some of the responses were things like talking slowly and clearly so that person can have an easier time understanding you. It told me to use visual aids so that the person can see what you're talking about. It told me to use translation tools like Google Translate or having a mutual translator. It told me to be patient. It's going to take time for you both to communicate with each other since you're speaking different languages. And it told me to use key phrases and things that they use over and over again so that you can pick up on that phrase. And it told me to be respectful of their language. You want to be respectful so that you're not offending them and so that they don't get frustrated, and you want the conversation to keep going. I really liked the response that the AI gave me. I thought all of the tools that it gave me could be very useful for my future and that they're things that I can use and other people can use. I did not think about the idea of using visual aids to communicate with someone who doesn't speak my language. I thought that was pretty cool. I think that ChatGPT can be very useful for problems like this or for scenarios like this because it gave me a lot of really helpful tools for this scenario. As you can see, ChatGPT came with a lot of ways to deal with this scenario. I think that the best tactic is to use translation tools because I had a friend in middle school who was new from China and he barely spoke any English. So it forced us to learn ways to communicate with him, and one of those ways was Google Translate. It helped us understand what he was trying to say and vice versa. It was a really helpful tool, and I think it made him feel comfortable, and I think it made him feel like he could communicate with us. The other sources that I found two other sources. My first one was from an article by Cron titled How to Deal with Language Spoken at Work. It gave me a different response than the AI did, and I liked the response that it gave me. The article said it is important to improve communication to make sure that you are making an effort to try and communicate with someone who's speaking a different language. You want to show them that you care, and you want to show them that you want to put in that effort to learn their language and to have a working relationship with them. For my second source, I found an article from Global Call Forwarding, in the article titled Communicating with Coworkers Who Don't Speak Your Language. I found that it gave me different tips from the AI, one being to find common ground with that person and to make sure to avoid using slang because slang can get confusing and it leads to people getting frustrated and no one wants that. So overall, I liked the response that I got from the AI and the sources that I found on the internet. The tools that both sources gave me were really helpful, and I think that they are things that I could use in my future career as a businessman. I think that this helps with communication because this is a situation that I could be in, and I need to know how to handle this situation. I would definitely like to use this resource again for future assignments and for future classes. It provided a lot of helpful information, and it's nice to get that outside opinion. I would also like to use this resource again for my future job because of scenarios like this, and maybe it can help me with meetings and other work tasks.